So we're up in Yorkshire to do some camping, and I thought I've had quite a lot of requests to do a van tour, so here it is. So this is our Mercedes Vito 2010 camper van, which we converted ourselves, and I'll leave any links to things below if it helps. As some of you might know, this is our side awning, which we only ever use on campsites and only when we stay somewhere for more than 2 nights. And when the weather's good, of course. And we can detach it and drive away and leave it to be freestanding. Anyway, enough of that, let's get on to the actual camper van. So firstly, we've got a Vanex bonnet here, and it was really easy to fit. They actually fitted it for me, but I'd been given this because I did some filming with them back in December. So if you want to watch those videos, I'll leave links below. I think this is one of their more discreet ones. You can get various different designs, and we thought this was a good idea to protect the bonnet from any stone chips. And while we're camping, we used to use sun reflectors, but now we just use this sort of cape thing that we got off Amazon. And it gives more privacy, and it stops our dog Hans from peeking through the window at anything going past and waking us up at the crack of dawn. It's never fun. And we spent a night at this particular campsite, and I thought, why not film it while I've got to put everything away and show you where things go and talk about them. So this is our rock and roll bed. I get a lot of questions of whether it's comfortable or not. I always used to think these look really stiff, but it's surprisingly comfortable. I never struggle to get to sleep. And being a 3/4 bed, it's actually quite spacious. The thing that actually sold me on this was because I went to a camper van conversion place, I tested one of their beds and I was surprised. But as soon as I laid on one, I was convinced. And we always have loads of blankets, and we've got a double sleeping bag here, pillows from home, really comfortable. And one of the things I can't stand about camping, even with tents, is trying to fold it all and get it back into the tiniest bag. So we've bought this big net bag. You don't even have to be really precise. I just scrunch it up however I want, and I just push it in and pull the drawstring. So while I'm doing that, you can see here at the back of the camper van, we've got a tailgate opening because we could sit underneath it and use it as a bit of an awning and not get rained on. And it's proved really useful. But there's also under the bed storage here with a wardrobe door at the back, but you've got access to the same unit at the side and things like the awning. So now I've stuffed the sleeping bag in the bag and putting the bed away. And you'll notice some cushions on top of here as well. And I made these completely from Dunelm fabric and foam. So to put it away, I have to push a handle. I've got to pull it up at the side and then push it in. I don't really know if this is the best method, but the instructions that came with this bed weren't that great. And the bed is a bit heavy, but I seem to manage it okay, but I've got to do a bit of manoeuvring. And then I'll probably sit down for about 5 minutes because packing stuff away is tiring. So we've also got a matching sink, fridge and dual hob. Again, from the same company as the bed, and it's all made out of lightweight plywood. And to be honest, it wasn't that cheap. I do wish I'd looked closely at how these units were built, because if I could go back in time, I'd probably make something myself, because the plywood is all connected with cabinet blocks. And I get asked about that frequently. And we've used those cabinet blocks to screw it to the plywood lining and to screw it to the plywood floor. And when it's the morning, we tend to just make bacon sandwiches, and sometimes cooking something on an evening. Oh, and coffee. Definitely have to make coffee in the morning. Now we also have this pull-out table, which I do love. It's great for preparation, but the only downside I don't like about it is when it's out and I want to sit on the sofa, I'm too far away from the table. So I tend to use the rotating passenger chair instead. And both of those chairs spin round, but we only tend to use the passenger side because it's really tight on the knees on the driver's side. And they were about $150 from eBay secondhand. And to store it away while we're traveling, we just store it at the back of the camper van, right in front of the rear wardrobe door. And it's a really nice high gloss sparkly surface, so when the lights are on, it really does look dazzling. And when it comes to cutlery, we just have some Falcon enamelware, but I've really bought these because I'm a food blogger as well. So we're now under the sink. I've made a makeshift shelf from a Billy bookcase and just screwed it in. And we keep liquid detergent here just in case we're camping for more than a few days, and some washing up liquid. And I'm turning on the gas right now so I can do my bacon sandwich. But the bottle on the right is for our propane heater, which is now 38 quid a bottle. And I think that's insane. So we're probably going to have to rethink what bottle we're going to use because it doesn't last that long. And you can just see a tube in the back as well for the grey water from the sink. Now here's a little update that you might not have seen before. These are silver steps, again from Van X for doing some work with them. And I started fitting these back in December, but as soon as the dog stepped on them with his mucky paws, I decided not to. The only reason they're on there is because my fiance wanted them on, and I thought, okay, they were just going to get damaged otherwise. But I've only installed 3 of them, not the one where the sliding door opens on the gas side. But if you want to see a fitting video for this, let me know. I do have footage. Here's our eBay special again, winter tyres from eBay with alloys. You can never have enough clips. We did used to use these for when we set up our projector to watch TV, but because it's been winter, we've been using our laptop instead. So we'll usually watch something on a big screen in the awning. And I also store these 2 food trays up at the top here. And these from B&M, they were really cheap and they've got rubber grips on the bottom and they do not slide off while we're driving about. Now to access that wardrobe at the side, we just use this for pots and pans, and it's our dried food cupboard. It's not the easiest to access the way we've set it up, but that's because we needed to utilise as much space as we could. But I've made 2 shelves out of chipboard here and just painted them black so they were discreet. So yeah, really need to tidy that up. So what do we store under the bed? Well, I'll tell you, because we've designed it in a way we don't have anywhere to hang clothes. So we just use these packing cubes, and we've got about 6 each from memory, and they're great for separating groups of clothes together. But when we're going on short trips like this one, we'll just probably pack 2 or 3 each. So now for the gas heater. And if you want to see how we installed it, I'll leave the video to that below as well. And to access it properly, we just unscrew the back base here. You can see a black box unit that we've designed, so there wasn't any chance we'd accidentally knock any pipes. And in the corner here is our electric hookup cable. And when we first got the heater working, it was great. But while we experienced snowy weather in France, it stopped working. We couldn't work out why. It's quite a complicated system that it needs resetting a few times, but we contacted the company. They picked it up for us, repaired it and sent it back to us at no extra cost in time for our next holiday. And it turned out one of the valves just needed opening, and that just fixed it. And there's our carbon monoxide detector as well. And this is where the heat blows out. And there's a tube that leads all the way through the wardrobe to this area. So I think we feel the heat more when the bed's tucked away. If the bed's down, you don't feel the benefit as much. Oh, and this flooring is stick-on flooring from B&M. I think it was about $6.99 a pack. I've got a video on that as well, and none of the tiles have ever come up. They were surprisingly strong, but I also bought a spare pack just in case I struggled to replace any. The only thing is, it does scratch easily, but when you mop it, the scratches go away. And for that reason, it's not my favourite flooring, but for the price, I can't really grumble. And here's our electric points, which tell us whether the battery's low. We can plug our phones into charge, and we can just turn various things on and off, like the lighting, the tap, and the fridge, and I can't remember what else. So if I don't show this bit, I'm sure I'll get questions. Vicky, where do you go to the loo? Well, we have something rather funny, which is called a shiwi. This one has a tube, which I don't like. And when we've got a side awning up, we'll leave our main toilet out here for our number 2s. And this is a Thetford one. It's just always in this massive Sports Direct bag for easy carrying. And these collapsible boxes have been great for storage as well. We've got a few of these at home, but we just take one with us. And we'll use it for various things. Sometimes it's electric, sometimes it's a snack box. And no, we don't take flowers with us camping. It's just we went to a cheap shop and took them home. So we're getting closer to packing everything away to travel. And what I'll do is make sure things are put away so nothing's rattling about the place while we're driving. I'll often store the kettle in the washing up bowl, while it's cold of course. The tap easily folds down, and the glass cover on the right just rests on top. It's not ideal, and the left one goes completely down. We also really like these back of the seat hooks, because when we go camping, we'll go hiking as well. So we like to keep our rucksacks on the back of here. And now we're putting our chocks away, and sometimes we need to use these because if we don't have it level, we'll often wake up with a bad back, and who wants that? And those go in the bottom of the wardrobe cupboard. And so does the awning, our foldable chairs, and we've got a fold-away table as well. And this really handy collapsible bucket that we'll often use to take washing up to a washing up point. There's definitely a knack to it, and I'm a bit out of practice here. And that goes under the bed. And all the bedding is stuffed at the back here as well, and we keep that here while we're in transit. Another thing that we've got Blackout rear curtains from Van X that we bought. We've got a Van X curtain cab divider. and eBay Blackout side curtains, which are definitely not as thick. But if you want to go back to basics and see how I converted the van and how the windows were done and stuff like that, then feel free to visit my camper van playlist. And if you've got any questions about anything or I've missed anything out, then feel free to ask below and I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can.